Hello guys, welcome back to another episode here on European Confessions. There is a message that I want to share with you guys. This message was sent to me by one of our dear sisters, and this is a translation of the message that she sent to me. The translation reads like this. Hello Brother Nashi, can you please post for me? I am currently working as a maid, but in a different area from where I was working at the time when I met this other man who was my blesser, whom I later find out that he was a ritualist. When I met this man, yes, I knew that this man, he was a married man, but I decided and I went ahead and I dated him anyway. At that time, I was so much in love with this blesser of mine, such that I then developed an I don't care attitude towards the fact that he was in fact a married man. But when I started dating this man, he had made it very clear to me that he cannot leave his wife and dump his kids so that he can be with me. But as a woman who was in love, I chose to ignore him. I think that I was too much addicted to his love, so much that it was more like an obsession, wanting him to myself instead of me being happy that I was able to share him with his wife. I then started to go to different traditional healers. I was also visiting white garment prophets, being given a lot of prayers as well as so many love potions that I used on this man. But this man that I was dating, each and every time that I would try to use some of the prayers and the love charms that I was given by several traditional healers on him, I'll then be embarrassed by him, because it was like this blesser of mine, he knew all of my moves. He would tell me that I should stop casting love spells on him because the charms will never work on him. So I stopped using all of these charms that I was being given by different traditional healers so that he can dump his wife and to be with me. But it amazed me as to how he had managed to know that I was using all of these love spells on him. Then it happened that one day I just felt the urge to go and buy some tomatoes at the local fruit and veggie market, even though in my house, at the room where I was staying at that time when I was dating this man, there was tomatoes in the house, but I kept feeling this urge that I need to go to the fruit and veggie market just to buy some tomatoes. So I then went to that fruit and veggie market. When I was there, as I was buying my tomatoes, that was when I met this other woman who was from a white garment church. Then she stopped me. When she stopped me, she said that there was something that she wanted to tell me. I said, okay, you can tell me whatever that you want to tell me. She then said to me that there was this other prophecy that she wanted to give me. I said, you can go ahead. When that lady gave me the prophecy, she said to me, I have seen you in a vision, but in this vision, it is not only you. I can see that you are in love with this other man that you are dating, but this man that you are involved in a relationship with, I do not have a lot to tell you about this man, but what I can tell you is that this man, he has a tendency of using different charms on you, and whenever he uses these charms on you, these charms, they leave some dangerous fluids in your womb, and you will get sick because of all of these charms that he keeps on dumping into your womb. She then said to me, so it is up to you if you want to be helped with prayers. If you want me to give you some prayers, then what you should do is that you should come to my house. That is where I will get all of these prayers that were going to cure me from all of these dangerous fluids that were being inserted into my womb by this man that I was dating, as she had seen in the spirit. As we had parted ways, whilst that white garment prophet was going on her way, and as I was going back to the room where I was staying at that time, then I said in my mind, here we go again. These white garments prophets, they just want my money. So for a little while, I chose to ignore her. But when I went back home, that is when I sat down and I started looking at my relationship. As I was busy looking at my relationship, I then noticed that I am a woman whom we can say I had never enjoyed having intercourse with that blesser of mine who I was dating at that time because of his manhood. His manhood was so oversized such that I used to experience that thing that called vaginal tearing each and every time that me and my blesser, we would sleep together. Whenever we would sleep together, I would feel so much pain. The pain was just unbearable. Comparing this pain, it is like at the end of his manhood, there was a needle that was inserted there. So each and every time that you will be having intercourse with me, it will be like that man was stabbing me with a needle each and every time that we were having intercourse. With all of these things that I was experiencing in my relationship, I then decided to go and visit that prophet. When I visited that prophet, she had told me that I was supposed to buy 12 lemons, some honey, loose tea leaves, 12 bananas, and fresh milk so that she can use those items. Once she had prayed for them, I was supposed to cook it in a certain way as she would have instructed me. Then after I had drank that concoction, then it will clean my womb. When I arrived at her place, then she made me a very strong tea for me to drink. This tea that she made for me, it was very bitter. She had mixed those loose tea leaves with boiling water. Then she added some coarse salt to that bitter tea. And she told me that I was supposed to drink that bitter tea. That prophetess then made me to drink more than 2 liters of that bitter tea, which was very painful to drink, but I managed to do so. After that, she then told me that I had to relax myself and get ready to have a running stomach, because she said that the tea that I had drank, it was going to clean my system, and the way that it would be cleaning my system, I was going to have a running stomach and plenty of urinating. That is how the bitter tea was going to clean me, and it was going to clean my womb. That is how the prayers will be cleaning my womb. But we sat there waiting for the diarrhea to start, but there was nothing. She then said that she was going to prepare the 12 lemons, the bananas, mixed with fresh milk and honey, so that the overdose that she was going to give me can help me. She also gave me some river stones that were quite small. Then she told me that when I would return back home, then I should place those small river stones underneath my pillow, so that those prayer items that she had given me were going to make my blesser to expose himself to me. After all of these prayers were done, I then returned back home, and I placed those prayer items in form of those small river stones underneath my pillow. The same prayers that were going to expose my blesser. But to my surprise, when I was expecting that blesser of mine to come and sleep over at my place, yes, he came, but he then refused to get out of his car. He only told me that he had came to drop some groceries, and after he had dropped those groceries, he went off in a rush. But I kept on using those prayers until one day that blesser of mine, he came and he slept with me. But on that night, when he came to sleep over at my place, he suddenly started suffering from erectile dysfunction, and his manhood refused to wake up and for it to perform its job. Then after we had seen that his manhood was no longer working, we then decided to let it go after trying for a very long time. Then we both fell asleep. As usual, I fell asleep, and when I woke up, this man, he was no longer in bed with me. All along, I used to feel sorry for him, because what would happen is that I would sometimes wake up in the middle of the night. Then I will see that he will be busy sitting by the edge of the bed, not sleeping. And when I would ask him, You would say that you will be worried about his several businesses. So I used to worry a lot about him. But on that night, when I woke up, I saw that my blesser was standing in front of this other wardrobe of mine, which I had at that time. This wardrobe, it had a very large mirror, and this blesser of mine, he was busy helping himself. He was doing this evil act of masturbating in the dark. As usual, he only wanted us to make love in the dark. Why we did this always in the dark, I have no idea. But each and every time, he would insist that we were supposed to make love in the dark. Sometimes he would be with me throughout the day and he would not touch me. He would wait for the evening. Then he would turn off the light and sleep with me in the dark, never in the light. However, on that night, the room was not completely dark. It was just light enough for me to see his evil deeds as he was busy helping himself whilst he was watching himself in the mirror. He was doing this thing in my room. After he had done helping himself, he aimed his manhood at the mirror so that by the time that he will be ejaculating, his semen will be splashed all over the mirror. After he had finished ejaculating, he then walked over to this other place where I used to hang his clothes when he would be sleeping over at my place. He then searched his pockets and he took a cloth from his pocket and proceeded to wipe his manhood with that cloth. After that, he then started to wipe everywhere where he had messed up. My brother, this thing was so scary for me when I watched him returning that cloth that he had just wiped himself with back into his pocket. After all of these things were done, I then sold all of my belongings and I ran as far as possible from this blesser of mine. Then I started to have this challenge that I am still facing even up until today. Whenever I am on my periods, if you would see me, you would feel sorry for me with the way that I'll be feeling so much pain. The pain that I go through each and every month, it is very unbearable. When I am about to go on my periods, I even feel so traumatized knowing that the pain that I'll be in very soon, it will be very traumatic. Sometimes I even struggle to walk because the moment that I try to walk, I would feel as if someone would be stabbing me just underneath my feet with a needle. But this is my own story that I thought of sharing with you. If you know anyone who can help me so that they can give me some home remedies to use whenever I'll be on my periods, I'll be so grateful. Dear listeners, right there was a message that I received from our dear sister. Then we had to do a translation. She is saying that she is looking for any home remedies that can assist her so as to relieve the pain whenever she will be on her periods. She is saying that whenever she is on her periods, she feels so much pain.